The Minnesota Vikings, man, JJ McCarthy's draft stock has risen, it seems like out of nowhere, because a few months ago, before the combine came around, everybody was saying how JJ McCarthy was going to be a second or third round pick. And then you fast forward to now, only a few weeks before the draft gets here, and there are people expecting him to be a top 5 pick this year. So it just goes to show you just how important, throwing out the combine and your pro day actually is. If you're a prospect that's not projected to be a first round pick, by throwing out the combine in the pro day and pressing in interviews, you can go from a projected second, third round selection to soaring all the way up the boards like JJ McCarthy. And there are a lot of teams that are very interested in trying to draft JJ McCarthy. The Minnesota Vikings are one of those franchises. They are expected to be very aggressive in trying to trade up to get him. The question is, is trading up for JJ McCarthy a wise decision by the Minnesota Vikings? Because when you're trading up into the top 5 of the draft, it's not cheap. Especially when everybody knows that you're targeting a quarterback, you're at least going to have to come out of 3 first-round picks. Now, the good thing is that you already have 2, the 11th selection and the 23rd pick that you got from the Houston Texans. You package another 1 for next year with that. I don't see how a team like the Chargers, maybe the Patriots, don't take that. The problem is JJ McCarthy the kind of quarterback that is worth trading up that much to get that high in the draft? Because we remember when the 49ers went in the market for a quarterback, and there are people saying how they traded up to get Mac Jones, and everybody was saying, oh, you can't draft Mac Jones, like his ceiling is just way too low to get drafted that high. Could you say the same thing about JJ McCarthy? He's been getting a lot of comparisons to Alex Smith because he's a quarterback that takes what the defense gives him. He doesn't try to do too much. He doesn't put himself in situations that Drake May and Caleb Williams do where they're just reckless with the football. JJ McCarthy plays pretty well within structure. He looks pretty cool, calm, and collected, even when pressure's in his face. And when you think about quarterbacks who are able to put the ball on the rope with pressure in their face, JJ McCarthy, I think, is really good at that. There were a lot of throws that I saw JJ McCarthy make that were tight window throws with defenders coming all over him. And yet, despite the amount of punishment that he was able to take, he still delivered some absolute dimes. And if you're Kevin O'Connell, you being an offensive-minded coach, you should have all the confidence in the world that, we can trade up for JJ McCarthy, develop this dude for maybe a year, and he can turn into a franchise quarterback for us. You see, I'm not one of those people that feels like the potential of a quarterback is what should determine if you should take them in the top 5 or the top 10 or not. Because potential is one of those things that can always change. You can say JJ McCarthy has a low ceiling, but he goes to a team like Minnesota where he has Jay Jettas, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, and he could become one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like, look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the draft. Nobody expected this dude to be an MVP candidate. So I don't really care too much about the whole upside floor argument with JJ McCarthy. The question that you are asking yourself, if you invest into trading up to get JJ McCarthy and you're going to be aggressive at doing it, is if we get this guy, can we develop him, and is this dude what we need to make it to a Super Bowl? Can JJ McCarthy go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts? These are the kind of questions that you're asking yourself when you trade up for a quarterback this high, because Minnesota isn't going to be able to get him without trading up into the top 7, maybe the top 8, because the Giants could take him at 6. Somebody else could jump ahead of you and take him. Maybe Denver makes a better offer and jumps ahead of you and takes him. Who knows? But if you're the Minnesota Vikings, it's not really about the whole potential aspect of it all, because I do believe that the upside is there for JJ McCarthy to become a top 10, top 8 quarterback in the league. But can he win you a Super Bowl? That's the question that you need to ask before you draft any quarterback, rather if it's JJ McCarthy or anybody else. The problem with the league now is that you have too many teams who are okay with just being okay at quarterback. Minnesota wanted to trade up for Anthony Richardson last year, and they came pretty close to making that happen. Kevin O'Connell and Minnesota, their front office, they have a vision for what they're looking for out of the QB position. They want a guy that has pretty good size, really good athleticism, and has a good enough arm where he can make all the big tight window throws, and that's what JJ McCarthy has. And my biggest knock on JJ McCarthy is that I haven't seen enough games of his where I can confidently say that he can carry a team. He can make everybody around him better. I do think that JJ McCarthy, with the right situation and a good team around him, definitely can succeed. But when you're thinking about a quarterback that you deem to be transcended, Super Bowl caliber, those are the kind of quarterbacks that can win not having the best offensive line or not having the best wide receiver core like Patrick Mahomes just did, like we've seen Lamar do in the past. Those are the kinds of quarterbacks that you look to draft and trade up a lot of assets to get. JJ McCarthy, if he can develop into a quarterback that could lead you to a Super Bowl, then he definitely is worth being aggressive to trade up for. But if you view JJ McCarthy like how the Patriots viewed Mac Jones when they drafted him a few years ago, then you're making a huge mistake trading up for him. Like, I get tired of people saying that all we need is good enough at quarterback. Good enough is not cutting it anymore. When you have good enough, you handicap yourself. We saw what good enough got the 49ers in the Super Bowl. 3 points. Their final drive of overtime. Do you know what having a transcendent quarterback got Kansas City? Back-to-back Super Bowl wins. Their third Super Bowl for the dynasty. Does it piss you off how much you pay for your monthly phone bill? Why are you getting frustrated when our partner Mint Mobile has plans as low as $15 a month that give you unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network? Stop getting frustrated with how much you spend on your monthly phone bill and go to trymintmobile.com/JT Sports and description and pin comment down below to get access to premium wireless for only $15 a month. That's only $15 a month. Switching to Mint is easy. It only takes 15 minutes to do. If you're pissed off with how much you pay for your monthly phone bill, switch to Mint Mobile today and go to trymintmobile.com/JT Sports in description and pin comment down below to get premium wireless for only $15 a month. Stop getting upset with how much you spend on your monthly phone bill and switch to Mint Mobile today. Just saying, like, there's levels to this shit. You can win with any quarterback, but you can't win championships with just anybody. But I like JJ McCarthy in Minnesota. Like, I love Kevin O'Connell as a coach. This dude is a really bright offensive mind. Minnesota already has a really good roster that's ready to be a playoff team as long as they can get competent quarterback play. So out of all the teams that I feel JJ McCarthy will have the chance of having the most success with, Minnesota is definitely number one on my board. And if you're any of these rookie quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, like, I don't see how you wouldn't be excited about the possibility of Minnesota drafting you. Like, if I'm Caleb Williams of Chicago, like, I want to go to Minnesota. I want to go to the team that has Jay Jettis, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. You got Kevin O'Connell, one of the better play callers in the league. Like, I'm trying to go to Minnesota. You feel me? A team that has a pretty good infrastructure on their staff. I know I'm going to get the proper coaching. I'm going to be developed the right way versus going to a team like the Commanders or the Giants, and you just don't really know what to expect. But for Minnesota, if they trade up for JJ McCarthy, I would actually be a huge fan of the move. I would actually give it like a B+, A- grade. Because when you have Kevin O'Connell, who really knows what he's doing on the offense side of the ball, the dude won games with Joshua Dobbs. You feel me? And we saw how short-lived the Joshua Dobbs insanity run was. But for Minnesota to still be able to stay afloat in the thick of the playoff chase, when most of us thought their season was over, as soon as Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles or ruptured his Achilles, whatever happened, that just shows how good of a coach Kevin O'Connell is. So JJ McCarthy, I believe that he definitely can succeed in Minnesota. Is he the quarterback worth trading up a lot of assets to get? I believe so. If you believe that this is your guy and he potentially could go toe-to-toe and win you a Super Bowl against some of the best QBs in the game, you go ahead and you pull the trigger if you're Minnesota. So I got no problem with the Vikings trading up for JJ McCarthy. Is he overrated? He may be hell of overrated. His draft stock has risen a lot over the last couple of months during this draft process. But if you need a QB and you got an offensive-minded coach, you definitely should go ahead and roll the dice.